Hey everyone! I've been revisiting one of the most eye-opening books about money ever written, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You've probably heard of it. It's that book that flips your whole idea of what it means to be wealthy. But here's the thing, it's not just for people who want to be millionaires. It's for anyone who wants to take control of their money and live with more freedom. So today, I'm breaking down the biggest lessons from this book in a way that's simple to understand and, hopefully, super inspiring. Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two father figures, his real dad, whom he calls his poor dad, and his best friend's dad, who became like a second father to him, his rich dad. They both loved him, but they had completely different ideas about money. Poor dad was super smart, well-educated, and had a good government job. He always told Robert, go to school, get good grades, and find a secure job. It sounds pretty solid, right? But despite all his hard work, poor dad still struggled with money. Rich dad, on the other hand, didn't have a fancy degree, but he owned businesses, invested in real estate, and had this calm confidence about money. Instead of worrying about job security, he was always asking, how can I make my money grow? And that's the first big idea from this book. Your mindset about money can change everything. One of the biggest lessons Rich Dad taught Robert was the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket like owning a small business or renting out a property. Liabilities take money out like paying off a car loan or credit card debt. Most people think that a big house is an asset, but if it's just costing you money every month and not earning you anything, it's actually a liability. Rich Dad said that to build real wealth, you have to focus on buying assets. Assets are like little money trees that keep growing and growing. Another major idea is what Rich Dad called the rat race. That's the endless cycle of working to earn money, spending it, and then having to work even harder to pay for it all. It's like running on a hamster wheel that never stops. Rich Dad said that the way out of the rat race is to build assets, even small ones at first. Because when you have assets making money for you, you don't have to trade all your time for money anymore. That's when you start to experience real freedom. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Rich Dad didn't just teach Robert to work harder, he taught him to learn smarter. Poor Dad believed that school would give you everything you needed for success. Rich Dad said that school is important, but it doesn't teach you how money really works. Rich Dad encouraged Robert to learn by doing. He had Robert work in one of his small shops, not because of the money, but because of the lessons he'd learned by seeing how a business runs. He said, work to learn, not just to earn. That idea of always being curious and asking questions is what really stuck with Robert and with me too. Of course, taking risks and building assets can feel scary. Poor Dad was always worried about what might go wrong, like losing a job or not having enough to pay the bills. That fear kept him stuck. But Rich Dad believed that everyone feels fear. It's what you do with that fear that matters. If you're willing to face it, you can turn every mistake into a lesson that helps you grow. And maybe the most inspiring part? Rich Dad believed that real wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about having the choice to spend more time with your family, travel, or do work that makes a difference. And once you have enough, you can give back to others too. You can use your money and knowledge to make the world a little bit better. So, what can you do with all this? Start small. Think about your assets. What can you create or invest in that puts money back in your pocket? Read books about money, ask questions, and keep learning. Even small steps now can lead to big changes in the future. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what's one thing you're going to do to start building your own assets. And of course, subscribe for more videos on personal growth, money, and living your best life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.